Welcome back, everybody. We're going right back into the mechanics of storytelling again with yet another classic, Mean Girls from 2004. But we're going to take a peek at it through the lens of Dan Harmon's story circle this time. Dan Harmon, creator of Community and Rick and Morty, developed this structure while being stuck on a writing project in the 1990s. It's inspired by Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, but condensed into 8 points, and it focuses on character transformation. And since Mean Girls offers a masterclass in character transformation, I figured we'd start here. On the surface, Mean Girls is a teen satire about cliques and judgment. But going deeper, we see how this film grapples with social conformity more than maybe any other film out there. It shows us how people operate through societal expectations, and it teaches us that the need to be accepted can fundamentally alter who we are.
I'll tell you why, because you are a mean girl. You're a bitch.
So let's use the story circle to uncover how Mean Girls explores themes of social conformity and self-discovery in Cady Heron's journey. Let's jump in. Point number 1, you. This is where we meet the protagonist, for the first time. We get an idea of who they are and how they are. They're in a zone of comfort, and this gives us, the audience, a baseline for their current identity. And for a film like Mean Girls, we know who Cady is right away. Cady Heron just moved to the States from Africa, where she was homeschooled. There is an abundance of cultural shock as she is unaware of social norms and is naive to the clique hierarchy at North Shore High.
Jumbo. What?
Point number 2, need. This could be summarized as a longing or a desire that comes up. This desire, whatever it may be, disrupts their comfort zone and reveals what the protagonist is missing in life. In Mean Girls, Cady has a clear void in her life when we see her fail to be accepted on her first day of school. Eventually, she meets Janice and Damien, who introduce the social dynamic of North Shore High to her. Cady again feels an acceptance-size hole in her life as the gravitational pull of the plastics led by Regina George grabs a hold of her. Cady does not yet understand what conforming costs, leading us to point number 3, go. This is where the protagonist decides to take the leap and abandon their zone of comfort. Just like in life, this often comes with obstacles. This chapter of the story circle represents the beginning of actual change. Janice and Damien, now friends with Cady, convince her to infiltrate the plastics. She begins down an unfamiliar path of popularity and toxicity, trying to quite literally sabotage the head of the snake, Regina George, from within the group. Point number 4, search. Here, the protagonist faces the aforementioned obstacles. They learn new rules and begin to evolve to beat the unfamiliar situation. The search will often raise the stakes of their journey and ultimately aid them in discovering new aspects of themselves. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, then it's probably a duck. Cady has adopted mannerisms and adapted the persona. She talks like plastic and she acts like plastic. She has ditched the friends who accepted her for who she was and goes face to face against Regina George. Point number 5, find. The protagonist has reached a turning point. They have obtained what they set out to obtain, or at least a variation of it. Oftentimes, however, this success can feel bittersweet and might be worth a high cost. Cady has dethroned the queen bee, getting what she wanted. She's gained loyal followers in the process and has acquired a level of social power she'd never even thought of before. But this comes at the cost of her moral compass and her friends.
And I want my pink shirt back!
Point number 6, take. Commitment is being tested as the protagonist faces a big challenge or challenges. This chapter is about consequences, which are essential for growth. Her grades are now horrible, her friends are now against her, and the whole school spirals into chaos. Cady feels a shallow victory, helping her realize what she's become is the very thing she once despised. Point number 7, return. With a new insight, the protagonist begins their return journey to their original environment from the beginning of the story. Although with this new nugget of wisdom, they'll never be the same as before. Cady has had time to reflect and knows what must be done. She takes responsibility for the burn book even though she had little to do with it. She apologizes personally to those she offended and she has a new stance on integrity, popularity, and identity. Point number 8, change or transformation. The change represents the full cycle of transformation. At the Spring Fling, we see a whole new Katie Heron. This is best captured in her Spring Fling Queen acceptance speech.
So, why is everybody stressing over this thing? I mean, it's just plastic. It's really just...
She has restored social balance and reconnected with her true friends. Well, that's how Mean Girls looks through Dan Harmon's story circle. This circle displays Katie's path towards social conformity brought on by her desire to fit in, highlighting the cost of it all, her self-identity. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on what we should analyze next.